Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Paper Happinessity with Monica. My name is Monica Formosa and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the Wide Bay area of Queensland on the east coast of Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate your time. I know we all lead very busy lives, so your time is very important to me. Thank you. If you're watching this, well, you will be watching this on replay because this is a pre-recorded video. So yes, thank you to everyone. Okay, I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers. There have been a few of you just recently, so thank you so much for joining me and coming on board. And I hope you're inspired by all the lovely projects that I create. Okay, so this video is for the Colour Inspiration Challenge number 192. Okay, I kind of had a bit of a panic attack here when I saw these 5 colours, if truth be told. So yeah, I did kind of think, what the heck? What am I going to do? But anyway, I will show you. I've gone totally outside of my comfort zone here. My most recent cards are all been about being clean and simple designs, but this is definitely not clean and simple. So here we go. That's my card. So the colors for this challenge are Bubble Bath, Timid Tiger, Azure Afternoon, Gorgeous Grape, and Blueberry Bushel. Now this challenge actually runs for 3 weeks this time because we've got this weird thing happening at the end of the month. Normally our challenges drop on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, and then they run for about 10 days, and they will close on that second Monday. And then we announce our winners on the Tuesday, and then we start up again on the Wednesday. If you happen to join us for a challenge and you win, you get to be our guest designer for a future challenge. So if you're inspired by what I create, and please do go over to our Facebook group and have a look at all the other amazing projects, because we are quite a talented bunch of gals and fellas, because we have Brenton in there as well. And yeah, it's a lovely group, very creative, very inspiring. If you do not have these colors in your stash, in your collection, you are more than welcome to use something that's close. Like if you don't have Timid Tiger, you might want to use Pumpkin Pie or Calypso Coral. Just swap out color for color, like an orange for an orange and a pink for a pink. You know, you get the drift. We are also allowed to use metallics and neutrals, black, white, I think crumb cake, vanilla, and basic beige. I think those are allowed as well. So yeah, okay, so my card here does get quite messy, and for something different I decided that I would do a bubble bath background rather than white. Now I'm thinking a white would probably would make the colors pop a little bit more, but I wanted to do something that's a little bit more grungy. And like I said, this is not something that I do every day, so I was kind of panicking there for a bit and thinking, oh, is this going to work? But anyway, it's not bad. Not too shabby, as they say. All right, so for my card, this is quite product heavy, guys, so I apologize. The textured note dies, I've used the long one that's missing up here. It's in my little box over here of goodies. I'm not sure what that is. Simply Said for the sentiment. Happy birthday. Now this is a great little one for all occasions that you may have in your life. A happy birthday and a let's celebrate, which is very generic. Miss you, thank you, thinking of you. It's a great one, and it has the, I don't know what you call it, the type, and then it has the I don't know what they call that either. Handwriting kind of font. I can't figure out my words today. Beautiful motifs. I've actually used this guy here, this lovely pattern in the background. I don't know whether you can see that. This fella here, Natural Botanicals, I've used the flower. And elements of text, I have used this grungy type here, and then these two splatters. So that's what I've used. I've got them all mounted up on blocks, so those are ready to go. All the inks, all 5 inks. Timid Tiger, Azure Afternoon, Blueberry Bushel, Gorgeous Grape, and Bubble Bath. Don't worry about my Gorgeous Grape, it's lost its colour. I think that happens over a bit of time. I also have blending brushes, a pink, a purple, an orange and a blue. We will need those. Put them there. I have got, for a little bit of more extra splatter, Gorgeous Grape and the Blueberry Bushel Stamp and Write marker. If you don't have these, you could also use the alcohol, the Stamp and Blends. This is the blender pen, which I've used to colour my flowers. These are a clear liquid, and they come in a pack of 3. So you get 3, and what you use is how to use them is you pick up your ink and then you can colour with them, but I'll demonstrate that one. For my embellishments, I've used the loose frosted dots. I just love how there's just the tiniest subtle bit of shimmer going on, but it picks up the pink, and it also picks up the orange of the Timid Tiger. So I thought that was a lovely little match up there, and that's just about it. All right, the dies, textured notes, I think I mentioned that. All right, so I have done a little bit of prep beforehand, as I normally do, to try and cut back on time, so we're not I don't hold you up too much. We have a Timid Tiger card base. Now that's a top fold, a portrait top fold. That's how I like to make my cards, but you can easily change that around to whatever you prefer. I have an Azure Afternoon, no, Blueberry Bushel, sorry, matte layer. Now this has been cut down to, I think that's 1/2 inch smaller on 2 sides, smaller than my card base. And if you're working in centimeters, roughly about a centimeter or 1.5 centimeters. I don't know, I don't really work in 1.5 centimeters would be a nice border. So that will pull that back then to 1/4 inch or whatever that is in millimeters on all 4 sides. So that's going to happen. I have a piece of Bubble Bath. Now this is I think this is the same size as my card front, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my stamping and colouring and then trim it down. Okay, so we'll trim that down to create a border, a little tiny border like so. My happy birthday I have stamped in blueberry on Bubble Bath, and that's going to go across that, and that's that big die, or the slim die out of textured notes dies, and I'm going to actually put that back in there right now. When I get my dies, I actually draw around them, and that way if things are a bit hectic, especially in classes, things can get misplaced, and I can easily just look and see if there's something missing. So that, and I do that with all my dies, and I also label them, and if there's a coordinating stamp set, I always mention that too. So that's the product name and the number, and then the coordinating product down the bottom. Okay, this is for the inside, because I like to decorate my insides and pull the design element, something from the front of your card into the center, and that just finishes it off really nicely, in my opinion. You don't have to go to that trouble if that's not what you want to do. Do bear in mind though, it will make your card a little bit heavier for postage, because there's a lot of layers happening on this one. You've got your card base. Like if you wanted to lighten that up a little bit, you could easily, you know, punch a shape or something, or die cut something out of the center of that one, and that would make it just that little bit lighter. All right, I need that one. Okay, and my flowers, I've got my flowers here, so I've done 2 already, and I will do the 3rd. So all I've gone and done is I've squished the ink into my lid. If you didn't want to do that, you could also get a block and just pick it up off your block, if that's what, it's another way of doing things. Both ways will get you what you need. So all you do, like this is a clear liquid, and I'm going to just pick it up, and then from the center of the flower, so you can roughly get 2 petals, 2 or 3 petals each time. All right, and then I need a piece of scrap paper. I'll just, and when you're finished, you just run your piece, the end of the pen over some white or some scrap until it goes clear, and it's ready for next time. You don't need one pen for one color, because like I showed you, it just runs clear. If you run it over some paper. All right, fussy cut, there are no dies for these, unfortunately, so it's a matter of fussy cutting. But honestly, I'm not being too precious about it. I like to leave a tiny bit of an edge. How much you leave is totally up to you. All right, so that's that. Put that in the bin. All right, so we've got our 3 flowers, and we have our sentiment over here. The next thing is, let's get messy. Ooh, let's get messy. And I might see if I've got, just so I don't, just going to get an old piece of grid paper. Now, to begin with, I did try a little bit of watercolouring, but I wasn't happy with how that turned out. So I thought, you know what, let's just do a little bit of ink blending. All right. And we're going to just literally put down colour wherever. All right, so that's Azure Afternoon. While I've got the blue brush, I will do a little bit of this one. It's all about being patchy and letting your creativeness flow. Which, yes, if people know me, I do struggle with that. Which is why I think the watercolouring wasn't working for me, because I wasn't able to control that colour. But that's okay. Now, just be careful when you put your orange here, because the orange and blue are actually opposite on the colour wheel. And when you mix opposite colours, complementary colours, they can go a little bit brown. I might just pick up a little bit more. It's all about splotchy. Okay, that's purple. Now, there's no right or wrong here. Okay. And last is a little bit of pink. Now, this is not going to show up that great, which is why I went with the pink cardstock. But if you decide that you want to try this and use white cardstock, it would definitely give you that tint. Right, I don't think I'm going to use that anymore. So we're done with our blending brushes. Right, our stamps. I do need these. Now, I did stamp off for these just so that they weren't so much in your face. And you can use second and third generation, just to give a little bit of dimension. Okay. This one's a little bit darker. Don't forget your edges, because when we go to trim, do one of these two in here somewhere. Not sure where, just for a different shape. All right, and last but not least, we will do, I need to clean that off because that's going to excuse me while I reach across and get my stamp and scrub. As much as I love the chamois, I much prefer my stamp and scrub, I will say. It has two sides, one for washing and one for drying. And I might do this one too. Will I do that one? No, maybe not. And for stamp those distinctive stamps, I prefer it because I think it cleans just that little bit better. All right. And then now I actually want to trim this before I do my edge. All right, so that was 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 5/8 of an inch smaller. Don't throw this away. We're going to use that in the middle of our card, in the center. All right, and let's go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 of an inch, which is 1/2 inch plus 1/8. Yep. And then I want to grab this guy and just run down the side just for a little bit of texture. There we go. And last but not least, I'm going to add a little bit of text. And I did that using the blueberry bushel. And once again, I'm going to stamp off. Make sure that your text is the right way up. Okay. And I might just do a little bit of purple as well. Gorgeous grape. Why not? I can't remember what I did. My first one seems to be a little bit darker. Maybe I went a little bit heavier. With the blue at some point. That's fine. Okay, a little bit of splatter. So I'm using my brush tip end. Don't go silly because you can actually ruin. And all I'm doing is flicking. It's not a lot, really delicate. Oh, really delicate. Watch what you're doing. It does go everywhere though, so. Okay, that's the blue, and I need to just wipe my pen, and I might put a little bit of gorgeous grape on there as well. All right. And I think that's it. All right. So there's our background. I actually might go back in make it a little bit darker. Just using the residual off my brushes. Okay, that'll do. Last thing I want to do is a little bit of water splatter. So your spritzer, a little bit more. Like I said, this really is messy. If you have a piece of paper towel, you can then just mop that up. And that's your background. Okay, so a little bit of smudging, all about being gorgeously grungy. So you can basically use whatever texture stamps you've got in your collection. I've just used those because that's what is currently current at the moment. Okay, let me just, let's glue that on. And it comes together really quickly now because you've done all the messy bit. Just let me pull my glue just a little bit closer. And then my bone folder, and I'll just if you wanted to, you could layer this up with dimensionals, but just be aware that postage may cost you a little bit extra in postage. Okay, now I'm going to put my sentiment up using my some dimensionals, my foam dimensionals. I might actually put 4. It's just a little bit. Goes across the whole card. Put you back. All right, so we're going to put this across here. Now, my flowers, I have put, is it? No, that's not even, yep. For my flowers, I've put one pretty much here, and then the other 2 are also up on dimensionals. So that one, and we'll do that. So let me this will make it a bit easier. Oops. All right, so I'm going to use my dimensionals to hold that one down. Is that straight? I should have used, yeah, that was lucky. Should have used a little bit of glue. Anyway, it still worked. And then I'm going to put this guy up here like that. And then this guy can come down here like that, starting that diagonal. These, let me just make some room here. I got things here everywhere and my stamps aren't clean, so I'm worried that they're going to put ink everywhere. All right, so I don't have too many of these pink ones left. I really enjoyed these. I think they're they add just the right amount of bling on something like this. It's not, and I don't like him. I think he's lost his, he's a bit too shiny for me. Where's another teeny tiny one? I think there's about 4 sizes. And there's 3 colors. So there's a yellow and a green, which is probably crushed curry, pretty peacock, and then the pink. But it's great because they go with so many things, which is wonderful. All right. Stop. Okay, I'm going to use my putty end for my take a pick tool. Oop. That's not what I wanted. Pick it up and not glue it. Just a teeny tiny drop. Oh, did it again. So these do not have adhesive on the back. You need to I've only got one up there. Oh. So you do need to use glue when you use these, unfortunately. There we go. Done. Right, that's the front. For the inside now, I'm going to just trim this guy. Just a teeny tiny slither. We're going to add this. Now you can either add it across the bottom or up the side. A little bit of glue. I'm going to go up the side. Gently, and you just a teeny tiny bit of glue there. And we'll just that's not even straight. I didn't cut it straight is the thing. Okay, I'll just snip off those ends. And we can glue that in. That's no, my original. So yes, doing it on white might give you a not so grungy appearance. And it would also show up your bubble bath ink. Because bubble bath is quite light. And there's the inside with our little strip there. Just pulls that lovely design. Well, it's not, I wouldn't call it lovely, but you know, pulls your design into the center just for something. If you wanted to, you could even do another flower and add it in there, just glue it straight on, but that's it. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope that wherever you are in the world, life is treating you kindly. And I know some of my friends are going through a bit of a rough time at the moment. So for those of you, you're in my thoughts and close to my heart. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. That would be wonderful. All right. Thank you. Bye for now.